Hello, welcome to Life Hacks with Pastor Dan. It's great to have you with us today on this fine summer day. Say, I wanted to ask you an important question. Do you like Spam? I really like Spam. I don't know if you can tell my shirt. I'm a real fan of Spam. And I just love to eat it. I love to serve it. I love to share it. I'm going to share it with you today if you don't mind. Because Spam is one of God's great gifts to us. Now, I've recognized that there are people that love Spam and there are people that don't love Spam. So maybe just listen in. Do you know all the different things you can do with Spam? You can make Spam burritos, Spam pizza. You can make Spam sushi. That's a big hit in Hawaii right now. You can also make Spam and eggs, one of my favorites. Or, you know, like me, do you know that Spam is so good that you can just take and, well, eat it right out of a can? Isn't that wonderful? Now, for those of you that aren't sure, I thought I would just share with you one of my favorite recipes. Because if you like Spam, if you don't like Spam, you probably could still do this. Now, what I would do is just take some items like I have here on my plate. Cube Spam, it's not hard to cut, very easy to cut. I have some Velveeta cheese, top line cheese. You got to get good cheese to make this work. I have some string cheese right here. And also have some mozzarella cheese, the little balls. Cindy buys that. It's kind of fancy stuff. I wouldn't probably buy it, but she gets it. She likes it. And then some little tomatoes. And what you can do is you can make just great appetizers. You take a toothpick like this. You can do this with your kids, your grandchildren. You can do this with your dog if you want. And you just put a little piece of Spam on the end, maybe a little tomato, a little mozzarella. You have a marvelous appetizer. Or you can take another toothpick, and I prefer a little color with mine, so you add a little Velveeta with it, and then a little string cheese, and then a little Spam right here. You see that, how I'm doing that? Now you can do this at home. And then maybe add another little Spam on there because you don't want to be short on the Spam, and a little tomato for the people that like vegetables. And you can have just a marvelous appetizer. You see that plate of delicious meal? Just think about this. When your friends come over, you could say, would you like an appetizer before we have burgers? Would you like to enjoy one of my favorites, Velveeta and Spam? So just consider how you might use Spam for other people. You know, what I've discovered is no matter what recipe I use, some people still say they don't like Spam. Cindy used to make it with brown sugar and mustard. It was like eating candy. So even though a lot of you don't like meat, you like meat candy, don't you? This is a good thing to try. But anyway, I've discovered that a lot of you still won't like Spam, no matter what I do. Would it be right of me to invite you over to my house and serve you Spam? Make you sit down at my table and eat Spam? Probably not. That wouldn't be a good way to show you love. Do you know that Paul talked about this in the Bible? Talked about it quite a bit. In fact, 3 different places. Romans chapter 14, 1 Corinthians chapter 8, 1 Corinthians chapter 10. When you go to those passages, Romans chapter 14, you'll find he's not really talking about Spam because they hadn't invented it yet. Hormel wasn't around quite yet. But he was talking about meat. Whether or not you should eat or you shouldn't eat meat when you're with your neighbors and friends. It's an important question. If you remember the whole story, some people were vegetarians and they didn't eat any meat at all. And the Christians would come and they would eat meat in front of them and it would bother them. They'd say, how do you love us and serve us meat? And then there was the other question of the meat that was served to idols. So some idols at that time were served food stuffs as a gift, as a sacrifice. And then after it was served to the idols, it was then sold in the marketplace for much less. And the Christians knew that the idols were false gods, not really gods at all. And so they would go get a deal on the meat, like go into a thrift store and they got a deal on their meat. And a lot of them would eat this meat sacrificed to idols. And the people that were not Christians said, you can't do that. Or some of the new Christians say, if you do that, you're defiling yourself. So Paul said, when it comes to meat, let's talk about what's most important. Look at this verse. I'm just going to summarize with this verse. If your brother or sister is distressed because of what you eat, you are no longer acting in love. Do not, by your eating freedom, destroy someone for whom Christ died. Paul says, if I'm going to eat meat because I'm free to eat meat and because I find it's cheaper to eat this meat and I like this meat, But if you don't like it, tough. Doesn't matter. He says, no, he's not saying that. You have freedom to eat the meat on your own. But when it comes to other people, you have to think about them. You have to love them. You have to understand what's going to draw them to Jesus or what's going to push them away. So when it comes to eating meat, don't use your freedom as an excuse to do what you want in spite of loving other people. Don't destroy what Christ died for. That's what Paul says. Don't destroy what Christ died for, other people. Today I'm not really talking about spam. I'm not really talking about meat. I'm talking about whether or not you should wear a mask or not wear a mask. Boy, this is a pretty hot item right now, isn't it? A lot of us really understand that we've been mandated by the government. We don't like that. And we say the government shouldn't be interfering in my private area. I have freedom to do what I want. That's why we have this free country. Others of you say, I don't know if masks really help. Boy, it doesn't seem like that little cloth covering is going to keep this virus from really coming and infecting me. And then other people say it's so important. If you don't wear a mask, you're not showing me love or respect. Now, I've discovered all those people are in church, especially in my community. I have people in my neighborhood that if I don't wear a mask around them, I'm not loving them. I'm not showing them respect. And so the question is, do I use my freedom to not wear a mask? Or do I use my freedom in Christ to wear a mask and to truly love them? Let me take the passage and just change the words. If your brother or sister is distressed because you don't wear a mask, you are no longer acting in love. Do not by your freedom destroy someone for whom Christ died. Boy, that changes the whole picture, doesn't it? But by using my freedom, I could destroy someone who Christ died for. Boy, if that's true, I'll wear a mask every time. Because God has sent me to love as many as possible. I'll do whatever it takes to love some that they might come to know Christ. And I encourage you. The question then is not whether or not you like spam or whether or not you like a mask or not. I don't like masks. It's not that question. The question is this. How can you best love and respect other people? Boy, I hope this doesn't divide our church. We need to be united together. We've been called to love God, to love other people. And I really believe right now at this time, such a time as this, people are watching us as brothers and sisters in Christ. And they're asking, will the church truly love me? Love me enough to put on a mask? How about you? Will you do that? Eat meat? Maybe. Eat spam? Probably not. Wear a mask right now. I think it's pretty important. Thank you so much. God bless you. This has been Life Hacks with Pastor Dan. Please give me a call if you want to talk more about this. I would love to sit down and have coffee with you. I probably will bring this spam if you'd like. Thank you.